Hi everyone, I'm Joe and today I'm doing a book review of the Dispossessed by Ursula Le Guin. This is the science fiction masterworks edition published by Guin and it is 319 pages in length. First of all, the plot. It focuses around a character called Shevek, who is a scientist living on a world called Anares. Anares has an anarchist society, which means there is no government and indeed no sort of central focal point to the civilization. Instead of using a government, they have a computer system which they are able to access and request resources, and it is a very open and oddly decentralized society of which we have nothing like it on Earth. And it's a world where freedom is pretty much the highest priority. There are certain jobs that you can do and you are sort of expected to do, but you don't technically have to do them if you don't want to. It's just generally very unwise because you are generally not thought of as well if you do not do some of the more messy jobs occasionally, and then you'll do some of the more things that you prefer. So Shevek's speciality is a really rare one. It's to do with time and fairly advanced physics, and basically he's doing research on a certain principle, and he's managing to do it reasonably well on Anares, but he gets to a point where he just can't develop it anymore. He just feels as if he's stifled by the system they have in place. Even though it's an anarchist society, it's just not useful for his final problems of this particular problem. And basically he decides that he wants to travel to the sister world of Anares, which is called Uraz. Each planet considers the other one their moon. So he travels over, which is a very rare occurrence, and he is able to do his research there, he believes. Uraz has a totally different society from Anares. It is a society that's far more similar to ours. It indeed has lots of liberty and freedom, but it also has money, something that Anares does not have. And it has, of course, the super rich, the super poor. It has a government, and basically everything that Anares doesn't have, Uraz has, and vice versa. Really interesting mixture, and indeed a very big case of culture shock, essentially. Shevek does indeed manage to get the ability to work on his project more in a way that he couldn't do on his homeworld, but he also gets used and manipulated by the Uraz government and various factions within it. And the mixture of this sort of political intrigue and the to and fro from his homeworld as well, and the fact that Shevek is a very naive person in a lot of ways, but also extremely experienced in others. Leads to a really interesting and fascinating account of sort of power politics and also culture and equality. Equality is a big feature of the book because on Anares, women and men are essentially considered completely equal. There are certain jobs that might possibly be preferred to a man to do, but likewise there might be one or two that a woman would be preferred for, but generally almost nothing really significant. On Uraz, that's not really the case. Women are considered sort of inferior, unfortunately, a very sexist idea, and he doesn't understand this because he considers women to be completely equal, which they are, of course. So the thought that a woman could be inferior, especially in intellect, is completely alien to him, and he's unable to figure it out because he's like, well, why can not a woman think of the same things I'm thinking of? All you need is training and education, which is completely accurate, but this society isn't at that point yet. I'm not going to say anything more about the plot because otherwise I would give away spoilers, of course. So the book is told from Shevek's point of view, so it's a first person view, and because, as I've previously said, he's very much completely naive in some areas, but in others he's an incredible expert and extremely experienced. This leads to a really interesting view on both worlds, and indeed all the characters, because all the other characters that you meet are developed from his viewpoint, and it's a really weird mix, but it works really well because they are developed in a way that I don't see that often in books. Now, the main focus of the novel, however, is not on the characters as such, well obviously they are the driving force for the point. It is actually on the ideas and the concepts. Particularly, it is on equality and on social structure, essentially. The ideas that Le Guin manages to investigate and make you think of yourself whilst reading, and indeed after reading, are frankly amazing. I love the ideas in this book. I mean, I knew I was going to, because that's what Le Guin is known for. They're just really fascinating ideas, and ideas that I hope may be applied to our own society in time if we can get over our own egos. One thing that I found interesting was the differences, but also the similarities, the really surprising similarities between the two cultures of Anaras and Uras. Both of them value liberty, albeit in slightly different ways. Anaras does not have money or central government. Uras does have a government and a caste system, working class, which are poor, or sort of middle class, and then the upper class, which are rich, and generally they're the ones with all the political power. But that aspect, as such, Anaras does have, even though it's an anarchist society. It may not have it in an official format, but there is a certain social aspect and a social sort of stigma that basically you need to do certain things, otherwise your fellow peers will think poorly of you, and to Anaras people that is a big drawback and something that they really do not like. They are all about the peer network that they have around them, and it's basically a fascinating idea and one that I really enjoy reading about. So in summary, this is an amazing book which I gave 5 out of 5 stars to on Goodreads. It has some really interesting characters, an interesting world where really interesting cultures and societies have been built up and intertwined, and the overall ideas on equality and social structure are frankly amazing and second to none. Le Guin knows how to write really fascinating ideas, which I absolutely love. And with that said, that's pretty much it. If you've read this, then please let me know in the comments below, and we can have an interesting conversation about it. All my social media links can be found in the description box below, as they always are. And with that said, that is it for this video. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you another day. Bye for now.